Hi gang, we're back with another short video. See what I'm doing there? See? All right, a little short video. Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, there was. But anyway, we're going to talk now. We're going to talk about immigration, immigrants, push and pull factors. If you want to, so inclined to look in your book, we are at chapter 18, section 4, and you'll find most of this information on page 626 to 628 in your book. We're going to talk about immigrants first, okay? Immigrants, they left their countries, came to our country, and there were reasons for that. This specifically isn't in your book, but I think it's very important that you know this, push and pull factors. So we've got a little slide here for you, and this kind of explains the push and the pull factors. If you're looking at this slide right now on this video, it explains it very, very, very well, all right? Land. Okay, so what is a push factor? Push factor is something that pushes someone away from their country for a specific reason. Well, people left their country because there wasn't enough land. Okay, now every push factor, I always say, has an equal and opposite pull factor. Okay, kind of just like science. They're pushed away because there's no land, so why does that bring them to the U.S.? Well, it brings it to, we had an abundance of land. The government was giving away land, okay? So we had an abundance of land here, no land there. Perfect. Push, pull, equal, opposite. Farm, jobs, okay? They lost their jobs to new machinery in foreign countries. There's new technology. Technology took away jobs, all right? Well, we still had an abundance of jobs here, abundance of factory jobs, abundance of jobs, so people could come here and get a job very easily. So they're pushed out of their country because there wasn't jobs. They're pulled here because of jobs. Political and religious persecution. Now this we'll get in depth a little more in class, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Persecution just means someone is sought after, they are hunted down, they could be just because of their beliefs, and their beliefs politically or religiously, what they believed in. They might be threatened, they might be thrown in jail, they might be murdered. We can have a wide range of things that could happen, but persecution means that they are basically sought after for just their beliefs. Okay, so that's a push factor. People are going to leave their country because of that. They don't want to be there. Why is it a pull factor to the U.S.? Well, what do we have? We have freedom, right? We have freedom here. Can you believe in anything you want in our country? Yes. I mean, I've always said, and I'll say to you, you can speak your voice, you can believe in what you want to believe, you can pray to who you want to pray in our country because of religious and political freedom. You don't all have to think alike. There were revolutions in a lot of country. Mexico basically had a very large revolution, and many thousands of Mexicans crossed the border into the U.S. because of that. They either didn't agree with it, they didn't want to be part of it, and they came here. And the same thing from other countries. There were all the time uprisings, things like that going on. They wanted to get out of there, okay? We didn't have any of that going on here, all right? And poverty and hard lives. Well, if you're in poverty, it means you're poor. So if people came here, there were lots of jobs. And then there's just the basic thing of also another pull factor was that they came here because their family and friends were here. All right. One other thing about immigration, we're going to talk about new and old immigrants. Okay, we're going to talk about new and old immigrants. I know this might sound funny to you, but it's just different time periods. Okay, think about it. The immigrants that got here first, okay, a lot of the immigrants that got here earlier, old, and then later on. But they came from different areas. Okay, the old immigrants in the early 1800s were from mostly Western Europe, okay? So you're talking Ireland, Germany, England, Scandinavia, and a lot of these spoke English, okay? The transition was a little bit easier for them, okay? And now then you talk in the later 1800s, early 1900s, you had many immigrants coming from Southern and Eastern Europe, okay? For instance, Russia, Italy, Greece. So these people had a little bit tougher transition, okay? They didn't speak the language. A lot of them didn't understand anything about democracy because they had lived under rules that they were told what to do, or they didn't they couldn't get the concept of it, some of them. So you just need to know these things. Now, when they came here, where did they come? Well, they came into two ports. We had two big places that they were what we call, when they come to our country, they are processed, okay? It kind of sounds like cattle being brought through a factory. But they were. If they were sick or something like that, they weren't allowed to come. On the East Coast, it was Ellis Island, okay? On the West Coast, it was Angel Island. And if they had any type of disease or, they weren't allowed in our country. There were many other things too, but just remember that it was actually different for new immigrants and old immigrants. So basically, that's all I wanted to go through today. We are going to talk about assimilation. It's something you're going to need to know. If you want to look that up, you can, because we are going to go over that in class. But people had to assimilate, meaning they had to become similar to what people were here. All right, they had to learn the language. There was a lot of things involved in assimilation, but we will get into that later.